Hey YouTube, welcome to my channel. My name is Payne. For you guys that don't know, been gone for a minute, but I'm back. Yay! This video is on how to work in this industry with a small child. Those of you that don't know, I do have a daughter who's 4, turning 40. And she's a great kid, independent, but I mean, it is a different experience for me, let's say that, because I have a daughter. Sometimes you hear me reference her as the Bambino. Yeah, so that's what this video is about. A lot of people, including myself, before I got into being a flight attendant, I never thought that this was going to happen or work or be for me, because the reminder, most of the training is outside of most people's states, and you have to be there in that particular state the entire time. So regardless if it's 8 weeks, 6 weeks, 4 weeks, however long, you have to be there the entire time. You can't go home. So that was really hard on me, because it was no easing into that. It was just one day I was there and one day I wasn't. So with that, just some things that I've been trying to do, and some things that's worked, some things that haven't worked for me with having a small child. And yeah. So first things first, I got a list, because if I don't read off the list, I'll ramble with you guys. And I know you guys love hearing my voice, but not that much. First things first, and I used to get this a lot, because where I used to work was very close to the airport. So I used to get a lot of flight attendants come in and out of my store. And I used to ask them questions all the time. And support system. Like, yeah. But I mean, for real, how does it really work? They're like, your support system, and I get it now, between her dad and my mom and my grandmother and my stepdad and, all the people, her godmother, all those people who are there to help when I'm not there. I mean, there's no way possible that I could have done this without them. Like today, and for those of you who don't know, I don't live in my base. So that means I have to leave my baby. Even if for instance, today and yesterday, I didn't fly because they didn't call. I'm on reserve, so they didn't call me. So I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs, and while my baby's, 2 states over, and I could be home. And, and that's hard. But if it wasn't for my support system, I don't know what I would have done. And that plays a huge role. Now, with that being said, though, I think if it wasn't for... I think another reason why it worked so well with me, again, with the support system, is because we all were on the same page, If mama say no, everybody say no. If daddy say no, everybody say no. If nana say no, everybody say no. You know what I'm saying? There's consistency. Now, do we drop the ball with that? Yes. Do we, some things get flipped up in the air? Yes, it does. It truly does. I'm not going to sit here and, say we have everything so planned to the T that there's no fail and no error, because we're still really adapting to this lifestyle. And then when I say we, I mean my entire family. And it's so crazy, is because I really thought that it would be my daughter who had the hardest time with me being gone. And she does. She tells me, Mommy, all the time, I miss you. We do a lot of FaceTime. We do a lot of phone calls. But honestly, it was my mom and my grandmother who had the hardest time. I never moved states. to go to college or anything like that. I always stayed in the same state. So it was an adjustment for them. And I'm the only child on my mother's side. I'm the only child, so that's another thing. And the first grandbaby. So there was some adjustments, and so just keep that in mind. It's not just when you start flying, it's not just your kid that has to adjust. It's your whole family. And then another thing is like you kind of on your own type of thing, in the sense that no one really knows what it's like except you. Like, your family has an idea. They kind of grasp it when you tell them or communicate with them, but no one really knows like what it's really like. So to them, they're like, well, why can't you just jump on a plane and come see us? I'm like, it's not that easy. It is that easy as far as, the physical part about it, but the politics and logistics of just leaving is, again, when you get into the industry, you'll understand, because it's different based off each company, but you get what I'm saying. No one really understands it but you, so it does get a little hard. Time at home. I make sure time at home, and honestly, this is one of my topics or space to grow. Because sometimes I get home, and most of the time, as soon as I get off a trip, I jump on a flight to go home. Or I call to get released to jump on a flight to get home. And I'm so tired. And I know some days I only do like one trip, but it's just the physics of it and the chemistry of what your body goes through when you're going up and down, up and down, up and down on those flights. I mean, it just wears you out. So I get so tired, and I feel so guilty. It's because I'm home and I'm dog tired, and no one has seen me, including my child, for days and days and days. And of course, she wants to spend time with me, and all I want to do is sleep. Right now, that is my space to grow. Is try to manage my time a lot better when I get home. Like, a lot of times, what I do is if I have to run errands, I'll just keep her with me that day. I won't bring her to the daycare, or if I got to make a trip back to my base or something like that, I'll just take her with me on the plane, because with most airline benefits, the immediate family flies for free. And so she flies for free like I do. What else? We go on dinner dates when I get home. I cook home-cooked meals when I get home as much as I possibly can, because Daddy does his best in the kitchen, to say the least. He does his best, but yeah, so I do homework when I get home. I try to go pick her up early, maybe even if it's an hour early than she's used to being picked up. I try to go pick her up early. I'm working on that part. It's because, just because you're tired and just because you're out of whack doesn't mean that, you don't have your duties. And I think that's the hard part. It's not necessarily that you don't want to spend time with them. It's not necessarily that you don't, want to be there. It's just that you have to learn how to shift gears. And I'm going into month 5, and I'm still learning how to shift gears from being here by myself and only having to take care of myself and here, and being home and having, someone else to take care of. Let me see. Another thing is, living in base and living out of base is 2 different things. My time is cut in half. I'll be even honest and say my experience with the job is cut in half because I live out of base. And that might be changing in the few months. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I want to leave home, but it might be changing only because at least the way my company works, I'm on reserve. So, like, for instance, one of our busiest months was December, and I only flew 5 days. Of course, Christmas. Everybody flew Christmas, but I only flew 5 days. So that was 26 days of non-flying. And so if I were to live in base with my daughter, I would have 26 days at home with her. You get what I'm saying? Rather than, maybe 15, because we get 11 days off, and you can get released early here and there. So I think I had 15 days off or something like that at home, and the rest of the 10, I was just sitting here twiddling my thumbs waiting for my company to call me for a trip. You get what I'm saying? So it does cut the experience in half when you don't live in bases, because I spend a lot of my time commuting. I'm in the airport more to commute than I am to work. So, that is really hard. And then it cuts into money. I mean, yes, as far as myself, I do make more with this job than my previous job. But when you cut into the fact that you have 2 different rents, 2 different grocery lists, 2 different expenses for gas. I mean, everything is cut into 2. That is becomes very costly. Now, the bonus side of having a small kid and coming into the industry is that they adapt extremely well. My daughter is 4, so if I decide to stick with this and stay and get some years under my belt with this career, then my daughter is already adjusted. You get what I'm saying? Like, when they're young, they're like silly putty. Like, they adapt and form so much easier than when they're older, and they're used to a certain way for so many years. You get what I'm saying? So it does have its benefits to start young, because this is, come 4 or 5 years from now, this is all she'll know. And so with that, it'll be a lot easier to adapt and adjust your relationship accordingly. But again, it is hard. When my daughter, when she gets sick, I can't run home. When something happens at school and she gets a boo-boo, I can't run home to kiss it. That's the hardest part. But again, she has an amazing father, amazing dad, who has always been very, very, very 50-50 when it came to raising her and having a relationship with her. She has superb dad. And she has a amazing Nana and Gigi, our great-grandmother, who's my grandmother, who, like, any little holes, cracks or anything that's missing when I'm gone, they fill it right on in. I mean, they're amazing with that. So again, it's your support system, how, effective you make your time when you are home, and, the true difference of being in base and out of base. When you're in base, I think it's an amazing job for you when you have small kids, because you're home a lot more with your kids. You really are. But when you're out of base, it does become hard, and you are faced with decisions fairly quickly. Like, I'm coming up on my 6th month of being with the company, and I'm thinking by my 1-year anniversary, I'll be making some decisions of either to shift to another company, to leave the industry, or to move into my base. I mean, all 3 are really good options. I've already experienced so much personally, spiritually, mentally. I've already experienced so much for myself within these last 5 to 6 months. And so, all three options none of them are bad options. It's just which one is going to be good for me and my family. So yeah, if you have any questions or comments or any tips to add or to help, please leave it down below. Yeah, that's how I'm doing it. And as I evolved and do trial and error, I'll continue to make videos on how to be a parent and a flight attendant all at one. I'll continue because it's an ever evolving experience. So, parenting and this career. So you got two things, evolving at the same time. So by all means, this will not be the last video that I make based on this topic. It's just right now at month 5. This is where I'm at. And shout out to my bambino, the most beautiful, crazy, lovable baby in the whole wide world. Mommy loves you so, so much. Bye.